asbestos.
Hope not.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of
Ray and Nev.
And today we have two guests. Actually, one of them.
Hold on, before we even do that, hold on. It's been like 2 weeks. We haven't seen you on here. What's going on?
Well, now that you say that, I mean, I was away for the last 2 weekends. Obviously, my daughter's birthday, which I went to Tampa for that.
We can let that one slide, I guess.
And then this crazy guy named Patrick Bet-David decided to create a Volt conference during the week. So I was gone from Wednesday all the way till.
Honestly, I don't think Lewis wants to hear that at all.
No,
he's used to sitting in your chair, you know.
I know. So Lewis, how did it feel sitting in my chair?
Well, it wasn't your chair.
Sitting in this chair. You know.
Oh, I took over. I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, we'll let the audience decide if they want you sitting in this chair or me
Put
sitting
a lot
in
of
this chair.
thumbs up for me, guys.
A lot of thumbs up. Listen, if you guys want Lewis to sit in this chair instead of that chair, I'm okay with sitting in that chair. But if you want Lewis to sit in this chair, go ahead and put a thumbs up in this video, and we'll make that determination based on what you decide. So, I love him to death. Known him for 20 years. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're like getting the voters. You know what I'm saying? Blackmailing the voters. Are you gonna?
He's a politician now,
cards and stuff. Or what are you gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna do to get those thumbs up?
The support.
Just a beautiful smile.
It's a beautiful smile.
All right, I guess I won that. But based on that, it was crazy. I mean, I was away from Wednesday all the way to Sunday, and it was a long. There were guys thought I'm on vacation because I'm staying at a hotel.
Yeah, I mean the pictures look like it was a vacation.
Listen. There's other pictures that I didn't post because of that. Because I didn't want y'all to think I was really
before we get into that.
I saw the one with the sandals.
The sandals.
So I don't know.
He said he seen the one with the toes out. Yo, that sounds like a vacation to me.
All right. So we'll get into that. But before we do, let's introduce our next guest.
Yeah. The other Zapata.
The other Zapata, the handsome one.
Did you guys call each other before you got here? You got the same shirt on.
I have no idea.
Wow, forgot about this.
So my reasoning for wearing it is obviously because of the suit. His reasoning for wearing it is probably because it was the only clean shirt in his laundry.
Oh wow!
I'm just saying.
All right. So we actually have not even introduced his name yet.
Yeah. So we have on the show today. We have Eric Zapata. So we all want to congratulate Eric for being on his first podcast with us. I mean, it was forced upon him, and he obliged. But we love to have him on the show because Eric does bring a very different dynamic to our team. Obviously, he is. We'll let him say it, but we'll ask him the questions now. Obviously, the tradition, right? What's the tradition? Anytime we have a new agent on the podcast, what do we do?
Oh yeah, we have to ask him. The agent questions.
The agent questions.
Need to find out a little bit about him.
We got to find a little bit about you. So I'll go ahead and start with the first question. So and just be honest. All right, just
completely honest.
All right,
completely honest.
Why did you get into real estate?
Why did I get into real estate? That's a good question. Well, 6 years ago, I decided to move back to Florida from New York.
Okay. What were you doing in New York?
I was doing retail. I was an operations manager for two big companies, Gant and Dolce & Gabbana.
Damn, Dolce & Gabbana.
Right.
So I moved here. Back with the family, it was great, and it's where I met my fiance that I'm with right now. And basically, I was interviewing with different retail companies. At the time, it was in the fall, so it was a little bit hard to get a retail job because they usually look for people at the beginning of the year. So I decided, actually, my brother's like, why don't you get into real estate? You've always been in retail. It's kind of the same thing. But here you get to help out people. In real estate, you get to help families. So I was like, okay, it's a change of career, but it's the same concept. So I decided
it's still sales.
Still customer service, sales. It's just a little bit more.
A bigger scale.
Bigger scale, and it's meaningful. I think when you see a first-time home buyer buy their house and how happy they are is completely different selling somebody a shirt or
Yeah.
a pair of pants. So it was.
I mean,
really,
they're happy when
really,
they buy a shirt, a pair of pants, though.
Oh, they do definitely.
But it's not the same. It's not the same happiness. It's not the same emotion.
Yeah,
It's the same
it's
emotion.
not the same emotions. So
Never seen no one cry after buying sneakers.
well, it depends. but yeah,
You finally got the Dolce sneakers.
Yeah, you're right.
You
You're right.
get those Jordans. It's
Or
hard.
that
Yeah.
Those
Dolce
are sought out
person,
too,
right?
and
No-
very hard to find.
No better feeling than new Jordans on a Saturday, right? On a Saturday morning.
Exactly. We know what he means.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I took the course, decided that I was gonna try the path, and I've been here 6 years now.
Awesome.
Awesome. So you've been doing this for 6 years. What advice can you give to a new agent that you wish you got?
It's a good question because I actually, starting off in real estate, I started in my brother's office, and he was a busy guy, so he wasn't the one actually training me and mentoring me. So I got trained by his partner, which was an awesome person. His name's Darrell Roberson. Sorry. But Darrell, guided me in the right direction in the sense of what you need to know about real estate and the stuff that you don't get taught at your course.
Correct.
The stuff everybody thinks what you learn in school is what you're going to take out to the field, and I learned right away it was completely different.
Yeah.
But I was grateful that I had Darrell because he guided me in the right direction, and Ray as well. Ray, taught me along the way, but he was more of, I'm gonna get on you because you should know better.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great,
And
because
Darrell
it
was
wasn't
more-
somebody holding my hand.
Yeah,
Same
at the
thing
end
with
of the day,
Darrell.
it was the good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Because Darrell has always been a mentor. He was always a coach his whole life. Like, he coached his kids' basketball team.
Oh, okay.
So he was about, teaching. I was more about, you got taught by Darrell, so why the hell did you make that mistake? So I always gave that tough love, which I still do to everybody. So,
Yeah.
right, Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody feel bad because it's if you're getting yelled at or you're getting it, just think about it. It's actually because he wants you to do better.
Mhm.
You should know better. So I didn't take it personal. I just took it and it was like, okay, so I know where I messed up. I need to fix it, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, it was one of the things I would tell agents is you got to go out there and get your business. This is not a 9 to 5. It's basically you have to hustle. You have to go and get your business, get known, because you're a brand. You brand yourself. So if you don't brand yourself right, you're not going to get business. You're not going to be successful in real estate. So networking is important. Getting out of your own skin and doing the things that you have to do to actually get business,
Mm-hmm.
where people fear the cold calling, the door knocking, you talk to strangers every day. Like, I was in retail. I talked to strangers for 20 plus years
Yeah.
that I didn't know from different parts of the world. But we stayed in touch throughout the years as well because they had a great experience when I used to run these stores. So it's the same thing. I want them to have a great experience when I'm selling their house or buying a house with them. So what I would tell, and the advice I would give new agents is, don't be complacent. Sky's the limit in this business, and you just got to go out there and get your business.
Awesome. What has real estate done to change your life?
Oof. Real estate has changed my life in the sense of I have a balanced life, like in the
Okay.
sense of
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's not something you hear often in
That's
this
the
business.
first time we hear something like that.
I have a balanced life because I chose that path for me, in the sense that in retail I was always busy. I
Mhm.
worked the holidays. I worked the Black Fridays.
Well, anytime there was a sale, you had to be there because obviously
Oh,
being
yeah.
a manager, you had to.
Yeah.
Well, in management and even in corporate America, when I was operations manager for corporate, I had Saturdays and Sundays off. But if I had to go to a store, I was there for the holidays.
Yeah.
I was there for the weekends because they expected me to be there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I missed a lot of good holidays with family. I missed a
Mhm.
lot of family time. So when I got into real estate, it wasn't about the money. It was about getting a quality of life for me,
Mhm.
actually. It was more about
Reclaiming that quality
me
time.
spending time with the family, me spending time. Now I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So, my focus is them, but obviously I got to provide for them. So I have to work hard,
Mm-hmm.
but I still got that balance of life, and I got the, you have that leniency that you can do something if you have to go right there and then,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's a big plus for me.
Yeah.
Louis, but
Definitely a big plus.
you worked in real estate as well, right? For a lot of years.
I worked in retail for a lot of
Yeah, retail,
No, I mean,
retail.
I'm sorry. I sort of meant to say retail for a lot of
I
years.
worked-
So did you have the same kind of feeling that Eric had? Are you getting a better balance?
Yeah,
You
I
being in
actually
your
am.
area?
Yeah, I actually am.
You're
I'm
able, you
actually
feel you're
finding more
able to
time
do.
for myself, more time with the kids. So
Awesome.
it does change.
Awesome. Why Larosa Realty Orlando?
Why Larosa Realty?
I feel like that's not a hard question. I wonder why.
Well,
Let me
I will
see.
tell you this. Okay.
Honestly, I
But
interviewed with
wait,
different
before you
people.
answer that question, because I want you to answer that question truthfully too, in regards to that. I love that you said that. But just so you know, I know 6 to 7 different realtors,
Mhm.
brothers that don't work at the same firm.
Fair enough.
I won't
I
mention
know
it
a couple.
in the video. I don't want to call nobody out, but I definitely want to advise you that there is a ton of people out there.
I
Matter
guess
of fact,
my brother-in-law doesn't even work here. He's a,
There you go. So
he's a realtor.
I'll give you a good example, and I'll give you just one example. There's actually an agent that works for us. I won't mention her name, but there's an agent that works here that her nephew is a broker.
Oh wow.
Her nephew's a broker. His brother don't even work for him,
Oh wow.
so she won't work for him. So, but we won't mention him. But yeah, so now go ahead and answer the question.
Okay. So after I finished the course, I got approached by different companies, like
Of course.
everybody does. The KWs, you name it, Century 21, all of them. And I actually interviewed with a couple. And then I basically hung my license with Larosa just because I liked what they were pitching at the time,
Mhm.
which is still an amazing what they have going on at Larosa. I felt for my needs, it worked for me because I'm a go-getter.
Mhm.
So Larosa, basically what Larosa brings is, they have the coaching, they have all that, but you got to be a go-getter.
Yep.
So when I was approached by these different firms, a lot of them were basically always, when I actually interviewed with them, they would bring up the split. Larosa wasn't about the split,
Mhm.
which was great. It was like, hey, you come to us, we're going to teach you we're going to coach you, we're going to do this. I actually had a training with Joe Larosa when I first started. So it was
Do it now class, right?
no, the foundation.
Oh, foundation. Yeah.
Foundations, which was great. You get to meet the broker. Also, I did the do it now, which was amazing. It took me to the next level. But that's why I chose Larosa. It wasn't because of my brother, actually, because we fight all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's known.
it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
That's a known thing.
I just
Do
wanted
you guys
to
fight?
see.
Huh?
I went out there to just see what was out there, and I liked what Larosa had at that time, which was 6 years ago, which is the same concept they still have now today. But it was that I knew that what they were bringing was okay for me because I'm a go-getter.
Yeah.
I go get business, and so I didn't worry about having to get leads and this and that. I was gonna go get my own leads.
That's great. So, what is your ultimate goal in real estate?
Ultimate goal. I didn't really have a goal until probably I want to say, well, when I first started, I was like, it's a balance of life, be healthier and stuff like that. But then I started reflecting back about 2 years ago when my mom passed of cancer. And I started developing. I started doing houses. But it's funny because
Now, when doing houses, unpack that, because you're saying doing houses, you're building houses,
project managing, building new construction. And one of the things that hit me was I always saw, seeing how people are excited about getting a home and seeing what my mom went through when she got her first home really impacted me, because when I was a kid, I always, with my dad, we would go to houses and fix them.
Okay, yeah.
So I was always around the construction, and I got the opportunity to work with an investor that we were fixing and flipping, and then we noticed the trend was changing in the fix and flip. It was getting very
The market was drying
saturated.
out.
It was very hard to find flips. So I transitioned in 2018, and I was like, look, it's very hard to find flips. Let's do new construction. He went with it, and we've built about 5 homes since then. And this year, hoping if everything goes well, we'll finish like 6 homes.
6 more homes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's our goal. But yeah, I think that's my ultimate goal for now, that since I reflected on what I want to do, is I want to get to a point where I'm a successful builder, in the sense that I'm building great homes for people, and that I could probably start a company in 5 years in building construction.
Do you see yourself going to like becoming like a DR Horton, like a Toll Brothers, like a Z Brothers?
Tell, actually. time will tell. Time will tell because time will tell because again, we're starting off. But we want to start it off and do it in the right way. And for me, the biggest thing is I'm not competing with the big builders. My goal is to build nice homes, affordable. Definitely one of the things that really hit me is that it has to be affordable. But we're giving great product, just because I know how hard it was for my mom to get her house. And especially when I deal with clients that, they're trying their best to get their home, but they just, there's obstacles in their way. So when you look at the market now, it's way more expensive than what it was 5-6 years ago. So my goal is to build quality homes at a good price.
All right.
Yeah.
So
one of the biggest things that I want to add to that is we're trying to make sure that we maintain all of our homes under 300 or at 3, or if we do go into the 3s, because we may have to because of, the
Inflation.
material purchase and inflation, thanks to our current government, but we won't talk politics. But because of that, it might push us to go over that $300,000 threshold, but we won't exceed that 350. We won't try. I mean, if we could keep it under 2,
you're not trying to milk the market. You guys just want to make sure you're still able to put the premium products into the house.
The reason why we may need to go up is obviously because we want to continue to build more, and in order to build more, obviously there has to be a profit, some sort of a profit. And one of the biggest things that we're going to be doing is, we're going to take 90% of those profits and reinvesting that profit. 10% to live on, 90% to reinvest back into the communities that we're building in. And we tried to build in communities that we grew up in. So we're not focusing on building that $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 home. We have built those in the past. I mean, doesn't mean that that's the route we want to go. We got an opportunity to do a project like that. We did that project. That project is, in the rearview mirror. We closed that project, but every project since that's been, affordable housing. I mean, I don't think we sold anything over $290, right?
No, most our highest price point is $265.
Yeah,
$265 was. What did we close Iris at?
Iris closed at $235 a year ago.
Okay, so
y'all haven't even touched $270, $280 yet.
No.
So, yeah. And you're still able to put the premium products in the house that.
Yes, definitely. That's another thing. We don't. There's no thing as a change order or upgrade for us.
Yeah.
You're getting upgrades. We're doing the 9/4 ceilings. We're giving fans. We're giving fixtures.
Granite countertops.
The whole house. We give you the fridge.
Yeah. Well, some builders you
don't even get the fridge.
You don't get the fridge. You have to fight for the fridge.
You get the whole appliance package. You're gonna go and turnkey, and you're going into your home ready to move in. There's nothing you have.
And you don't even put carpet in houses. It's always the nice tile.
We either do tile all the way across, or we do vinyl laminate.
Yeah, we use good product. Based on our budget, we always want to make sure that the product is good. And it attracts all audiences. And one of the things with us, the biggest thing with me when I'm building, I look at the quality. Because it's not like a big builder where the project manager has 20 houses to look over. I'm only looking over 1 or 2 at a time. So I'm actually there physically making sure that the work that's being done is done correctly. And there's no cutting corners.
Now, in regards to the second part of that question is, what is your ultimate goal in life? Not real estate, because we already got the real estate part. What about life?
Oh, just to live long, healthy life. Enjoy my family, my immediate family, friends, everybody that I met along the way. Just spend some quality time with them. I think my goal is that once I get to a certain age, say 50, I can relax and just.
I remember you mentioning a boat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have a boat already. That's the one we started off. I wasn't a captain yet, so we decided to buy what do you call a project boat, and then we worked our way up.
Who'd you buy that boat with?
Oh, Lewis. Yeah, we took a.
I'm the captain.
He's the
I'm
captain.
the captain now.
I'm the fisherman.
My question: does he know how to drive the boat like this?
Oh yeah. He's a really good captain.
Really good
Captain
captain.
operator.
Yeah, really good captain.
That's funny.
I will say that I've learned, I've driven the boat and stuff, learning how to manage with the waves and stuff. But he's definitely a really good captain.
Ocean of the ocean.
Awesome.
So when you were a kid in high school, who were you?
Ooh, when I was a kid in high school, I was.
You just told me here. You just told me where you were.
What did he tell you? What did he tell you?
I don't know. Is this something we can say on camera? Can we say this? Or is this something we have to keep on the low?
I was.
What you told your wife? You just
I was healthy. I was fit. I played sports.
Very athletic.
Is that what he said over there?
Nah, he's breaking it down, but he didn't want to say the main word.
What have you said after?
I was shy. I'll be honest. I was a shy person.
I could attest to that
Very,
too.
very quiet to myself. Only spent with the immediate friends that I knew and the people I met along the way in high school. It was hard for me because I transitioned from New York to Florida when I hit 9th grade.
Okay.
So I started high school here, knowing nobody. So it was different.
Yeah, but at one point, keep in mind that's when Jay came.
Yeah.
So what was that? 10th
My
grade?
childhood friend moved down here
From Florida,
at the same
from
time
New York.
from New York. So JC moved down, and then we started going to school together in 10th grade.
Okay.
So that I had a good friend, and
Because we had
and
Chris.
then the people I met in 9th grade,
And Chris
and
was
then another childhood friend that I know was Chris. So I knew them from New York.
And he came down too?
They
He was here
actually
first.
moved prior to
Oh,
us.
okay.
he was here first.
They were here first.
They're the
and
reason
then
we moved down.
we
Oh, okay.
moved down because my brother wanted to go to Florida State. So
We'll save that for later.
We'll talk about that.
He messed up my baseball career, but
Oh,
we
wow.
didn't talk about that.
That's
No.
another segment.
Yeah, might as well bring it up. So
No.
so I came down one summer. We all came down for a summer because Chris's family had already moved here. My dad and Chris's dad, actually the way they met was kind of weird because the way they met, they actually had my sister.
Not to cut you off, we actually have Juan Rios
Juan
walking
Rios
in.
the building.
Juan
I
just came back from Puerto Rico. Welcome back. DR. He's looking a little chunky, but it's okay.
That shirt used to
That
fit.
vacation.
That shirt used to fit looser. Anyway, so what happened was my sister got into an accident. We used to go fishing all the time because we used to live in Far Rockaway, which was a peninsula. Had ocean on one side, river on the other. So we ended up going. We used to go fishing on the rocks. My sister fell and slid her wrist. So when she slid her wrist, we had to rush to the hospital. But all our fishing equipment was out, like fishing.
Man.
So my father told the guy who had been, they've been going fishing there, both of them at the same time for a long time. They just never spoke to each other. And my father says, "Hey, can you watch our stuff?" So he rushes us to the hospital. When we get back, he's still there waiting, like late at night, with the shit. Because he didn't know where to take it.
Yeah.
Right. So ended up being, they start talking. They're Vietnam vets.
Oh wow. Okay.
And my dad's patrol, because he was an Army Ranger. And you met my dad.
Yeah.
He's a tough dude.
Yeah.
He actually rescued the other guy's platoon.
Oh wow.
He was one of the rescuers that when they had to go in to go save this guy, he was the one. His platoon was the one that saved him.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, they just became like brothers.
Okay.
They're still brothers to this day. And what happened was,
so he moved down first.
He moved to Florida.
Okay.
And then he invited us for a summer. We came down. I fell in love with Florida, and I was like, "Mom, I want to go to Florida State." So since he brought it up, so I moved down. So what we figured out is Florida State's really expensive when you're out of state college, And so I ended up because I wanted to play football. That was my dream.
Rudy.
Rudy. Great movie.
Great movie. I actually lived it. So anyway, so we ended up moving down, and then so I can have what's called in-state
Tuition.
Yeah. So we ended up moving down. I ended up going to Valencia because it was still pretty expensive, and we didn't grow up. We grew up humble, very, very humble beginnings. We grew up in the projects in New York City. So when we came down, I couldn't go to the school, so I went to Valencia, and literally within the first semester, I was done with college. I gave up on college because I
moved the whole family to Florida for this.
Yeah, moved the whole family to Florida for this. So, but the coolest thing about it, it was hard for Eric, obviously because he had his friends over there. But the good thing is he also had his bullies in New York too. Okay.
So hold on. Not to change the subject or cut you off. How did that ruin his baseball prospects?
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So Eric was well known in New York. Like he played all the little leagues.
Okay.
And we were part of a championship team. Thanks to me, we lost the first championship, which was against the Reys.
Oh man!
And yeah, the ball. I was in third base, right? I never played third base, and they put me on third base that day, and the ball went through my legs, and I was done. It was done. World Series.
Oh man!
New York World Series, and we lost it because it went through my legs.
What does it sound like? Like Sandlot?
It was. I'm telling you, it was at Sheep Shea Bay, right? Sheep Shea Bay. And which is a section in New York where it's close.
Wow. So the loss was so bad, y'all just had to leave New York.
No. We won several championships.
The L was just so big, couldn't come back.
That L hit me hardest. That L hit me the hardest because obviously it was me. It's my first L ever. I'm like, 12 years old? When you get an L at 12, some people don't take it as a devastating. I took it as a devastating loss.
It's definitely a lesson.
Literally, like we won so many championships in other parts of the state. Like we went to Staten Island. We destroyed Staten Island, right? But and that was a cool story too. What we found out about Staten Island, because what happened was we went to go play at this park, and this guy, our coach, his name was Lefty, right? So our coach used to take us there, and we wondered why we playing against these teams. Like we're rocking these teams, right? And because we were at a higher caliber. And Lefty tells us a story. He says, the reason we're here is because you see those kids? That used to be me. Those kids don't have a mom or dad. They're foster kids.
Oh, okay.
And you see this park is owned by a millionaire. And that millionaire has schooling for them, has schools, has dorm rooms for them. And literally, because he was homeless too. So that really shifted my mindset from even a young age. Like, man, we need to get out of this so we can grow to become something big. So a lot of people think, well, if you talk to Ray, and Ray's always talking about we got to do this because he wants to make $1 million. He wants to make $100 million. It's not because I want to make $100 million for me. It's because I want to be able to do what lefties, contribute. I want to contribute back to society. I want to be able to give back. And that really touched us because like at that point, when he told us that story, which was like the second time we went there for a tournament, we loved going to Staten Island because at one point we wouldn't talk to the kids. But then when we would win, even though we just beat them 9-0, 10-1, we would sit down and have lunch with them and talk about their stories. And I'm like,
at least you're mom and dad. At least you're around to console them after you beat them.
And the stories that they would tell us is amazing. Like these kids have been kicked out of their house at like 9 years old, 10 years old, where they had nowhere to go, and they had to go into the foster system. And this guy would just literally take them out of the foster system. Like he'd go and adopt them. Yeah. And because he was a wealthy person, I think he lived to be like 100 and something, right? Like 101 years old. I mean,
when we were young, he was already in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and he lived a lot longer than that. So I think like he made it to like 104 years old. The millionaire did, but his foundation continued the project even past his age. So what did he do? He built an amazing legacy. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, when I'm gone, I want my legacy behind. It's not about raise this wealthy evil billionaire. Raise this person that gave back to society. Look at all the charities. Look at all the foundations that they created. And then 2 years ago, like my brother said, when my mom passed, one of the houses that is near and dear to me is the Iris because we named it after my mom. But then one day I was driving down Davenport about a couple weeks ago, and I saw the street is called the Cheney Brothers Road.
Mhm.
and it's in Davenport. And I was like, what if we built a neighborhood that has all of our names on it? What if Zapata Lane, Zapata Street exists in Puerto Rico? If you go to Puerto Rico, the street that my dad lives on, my dad in Puerto Rico, my biological father, that's called Zapata, Calle Zapata, which is Zapata Street. So to be able to build that in Florida would be amazing. That's one of our goals.
That's awesome, man.
And it's just about building a legacy. That's what it's all about, right? Leave something for the kids. I mean, when you have kids soon, you're gonna feel that.
No, definitely. I already kind of feel that now. Where it's like I don't, not that I want to leave stuff for the kids. I ain't got no kids. It's like I want to do more than just help myself.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to help people around me, and that's really the big reason why I do everything that I do.
What about you, Lou?
Well, I mean,
put him on the spot, right?
Well, I mean, I'm just growing with this, and I want to do the same too. It's just learn and grow and teach.
Now, you love Dominican Republic. You have a passion for it. What would you do for the Dominican people?
Definitely build
Like
properties and apartments, and build a community, a park. Yeah, we can do it.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's doable. Everything that we're talking about right now is doable because there's people that, one, have done it before we have. So obviously there's a formula for it. And two, the great legacies that have been built throughout the years because of it. So I think it's definitely doable. And I think with the team that we have now, I think we have a very strong concrete team that will be able to take it to the next level. So I'm really happy about that.
Thank you for answering our questions, man.
Absolutely,
First time on the episode.
That was pretty easy.
I told you it wasn't going to be too
pretty
hard.
simple.
Now, how was you guys' week? Because I know I was away. So any successes you guys want to talk about this week?
Yeah, we locked in a
couple of
deals.
Yeah.
I think all of you locked in deals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Negotiating a couple still, and but we're really doing a good job. Really, I think we saw this week that just passed was we were out there very active, door knocking, trying to generate leads. That's basically what we've been focusing on, is getting to the next level.
Hey guys, we have one more guest.
We have one more guest that just
Oh
walked in.
my gosh,
Come on
Miss
in.
Sierra.
You're
Let's go ahead and clap it up for her.
Sierra's in the building.
The
All the way around.
the cornerstone of our office.
So this person. So if you ever come to Larosa, Orlando, this is the beautiful face that you see. This is Sierra. She is our office manager, and she is the person that runs the day-to-day, takes care of everything that I can't.
She is the glue that keeps this office together.
Absolutely, 100%. She literally makes sure that I stay on point with what I need to do for the most part, and just always holds me accountable to the highest standard, which I love. So thank you for sneaking up here.
I thought I was like just interrupting a random meeting. I was like, anyway, I gotta check the cut.
But so the chairs is a random meeting. Okay, we definitely need to post something.
We're gonna need a sign.
I did that for the random meeting before, so I was like, not a random meeting, but the team meeting. So
Show in progress.
We put that up.
Show in progress. Yeah.
and here I am.
Yeah.
Special guest.
Thank you for stopping by, Sarah. We're gonna actually have her on the episode soon.
Yes.
She's been ducking and dodging us for weeks now. But
Yeah, we're gonna talk about like all the stuff that she does on her day to day, so people know what a real estate office looks like.
Exactly.
Runs.
What it takes to run it.
Absolutely. So,
but yeah, we all had a great week. While you were away, we were able to hold it down.
damn, why you say it like that? Why you were away?
You were away. What do you mean?
Away.
We kept the vlog rolling.
Well, I will tell you this. I appreciate what you guys did this week because I literally got no calls about any issues. Not just from our standpoint, like we didn't have any issues from the executive group, but we had zero issues. Like Sierra held it down on the Larosa Realty Orlando side because I did get like one call like the first day, but that was perfect because that was the day that you saw the Sando picture. Because what happened was that was Wednesday. So I'll go over. I mean, just so you guys understand how my week went. So I'll go over that real quick. So what we did is we went.
So hold on, where were you at?
I was at the Diplomat over in Hollandale Beach in Miami
For the vault,
the
right?
Vault event. Yeah.
And who's that with?
That's with Patrick and David, and he had an amazing cast of guest speakers. They had Billy Bean from Moneyball. If you guys never seen, he actually is from the Oakland A's. He was the manager that literally said, "You know what? We can't compete with the big boys.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So let's do data driven." So it basically, and I love the way Patrick put it together because what he did is he built a business based on the levels. And a lot of people probably didn't get this at the vault, but as I saw him build it, I started to see he was a freaking genius the way he did it, because he started with, okay, you want to start a business? Go get your data first, right? Go get your data. Billy Bean was the expert at that. He went and found people that were database people that will, so, because what happened was the Oakland A's can never compete. They can never compete against the New York Yankees of the world, the Boston Red Sox of the world, because they had the money. Remember,
they couldn't afford to buy the star players.
There's no what do they call it?
It's no cap.
There's no cap in baseball.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So because there's no cap, like football has a cap, but in baseball there's not a cap. So what happens is, if you can afford a Yankee player, you go get whoever you want.
And the A's couldn't do that.
A's couldn't do that. They didn't have the money, nor did they have the revenue to do that. So what he did is he says, let's focus on data, and let's focus on. And one of the data's items that he discussed was, he said, focus on who can get on base. I don't care what they look like. I don't care how powerful of a hitter they are, but can they get on base? What is their on base percentage? And they built their team around that. And they built an amazing team that actually held a record of 20-0 in 1 year. And that record actually just got broken this year by the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, wow.
And guess how they broke it?
Same way?
Same data. They went data driven on how they wanted to build their team.
Instead of focusing on just like buying a key player, a star player,
Correct.
they were like, let's see who can actually just get. As long as you can get to first base, we can get to second base.
Well, think about the genius of it, because think about if you had 20 power hitters, or you only need 9 on a team. So let's say 9 of your team members were alpha males. You know the clashing that occurred.
Yep.
You know, if you look at Tom Brady and you look at the way he when he came to Tampa. And he talked about how when they built the Tampa Bay Bucks to become a championship team, a lot of those cats are humble, very humble cats. So going back to that, data driven, that was step 1. Step 2, the next person was Dustin Poirier, which a lot of us don't know who he is till recently.
Oh yeah,
because he just whooped
McGregor
O'Connor twice.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, thank you. He whooped him twice.
You don't want to use
right?
He whipped him. He whipped him once.
I do. I saw both fights.
He whipped him once, and
here it goes.
And it was a stoppage.
Conor McGregor fan.
No, that L wasn't put on Conor's record. It was a doctor stoppage.
It was a stoppage, but he broke his leg because he wasn't training.
He broke it. He had a fracture. He had a fracture prior to that, though.
So what did Dustin bring to the table? One of the things that I learned from Dustin was that you got to grind. You know, so hard work. Because the kid in his first fight, his wife drove him to the.
Yeah.
They didn't even have their own car. They used the mother's car for his wife to drive him to his first fight. You know, and his wife has been at every fight ringside. So that's the crazy part. No matter where he goes, he takes his wife with him. Cool story about that is we raised we were supposed to raise like 20,000, and Patrick David was going to match it with another 20,000 to give generators to the people in New Orleans. Obviously, we all know that what happened in New Orleans. We raised I think something like 34,000, and Patrick David gave 20,000 of his own money. They matched that up to 20, and so we ended up giving them 50-something thousand for generators. And then we took a picture and we sent it out to them, and they were really happy. That was pretty cool. Then the next person that came up was Greg Scher, which was a good, amazing character. And the reason why I say amazing character is because you could tell he was that nerd in school, but he really wasn't. Like he just was focused, and he did equity banking his whole life, private equity banking. And he literally broke down like, okay, so first thing, you got the analytics. Second thing, you have the grit, which is the hard work. And then now you're building. So what do you need next to grow it? Capital. So he brought on Greg Scher. Greg Scher shows you how to get the capital because he's a private equity. So he showed us exactly the breakdown of how you go and ask for the capital, right? Angel investing, boots, straps and boots, all of that good stuff. Then after that, we have Phil Heath. What did Phil Heath say? So you work your ass off, right?
Who's Phil Heath?
Phil Heath is 7-time Mr. Olympia.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I know him.
Yeah. So
yeah,
he's huge, right?
Yeah.
So he got on stage and he said, and his thing was health. You have to focus on your health, because the thing is, you become a billionaire, gazillionaire, whatever, you're going to spend all your millions and billions just to try to get your health back, and that's not going to help. Obviously, we just talked about that this morning with several people that have passed, like Steve Jobs being one of them.
Yep.
He had all the money in the world, didn't save his life.
Yep.
You know, so he focused on health. He's like, listen, you got to put in the work. You got to do the exercise. You got to eat right. You got to do everything you got to do to give yourself a long life. Because, like Eric was saying, he wants to spend time with his family, friends, and his inner circle. But how can he do that if he's not taking care of himself? Eventually, he will be a missed position within that circle.
Yeah.
Because he'll be gone. But if we take care of our health, then we can work towards, making sure we have a long, healthy, and amazing life. Then after that, they brought in Gary Kasparov, which is he is the chess champion for 20 years. What did he talk about? He talked about, okay, so let's go through the cycle, right? Cycle 1, let's go ahead and get the data on building the business. Cycle 2, let's work hard at building it. Cycle 3, let's go ahead and get the money so that we can grow it. Cycle 4, let's go ahead and continue to stay healthy so we can last the company or last as long as the company does, or even longer if we can. And number 5 is now that you have built the company, now you're going to have people that are within the company that are going to try to destroy the company. So you have to build strategies to continue continue going forward. So he was more the creative mind of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he built it. I don't know if he purposely did it that way, but the way it worked, it literally showed me like, okay, here's the steps. He's giving us the formula, even though it was in the book that way. He's giving us the formula on how he became successful, because that's probably the steps that he took into building his business. And when I was following him, he used to be worth about, $5 million. He's worth 150 million now. Actually, he's probably above that number now. So that was pretty cool. So when I say that event, and then I think I called a few of you, right? And what did I say? What did I tell you?
I don't know. I don't remember.
When I called you, I was like, what are we doing next year?
Oh yeah, we're all going to the vault.
And we're going into what seating?
What was it?
CEO.
CEO, yeah.
CEO. And how much is a CEO ticket?
$10,000.
$10,000. It's worth every penny. And why do I want you guys to be there? Because I had a conversation with Lewis one time, and I was like, yo, we're going to be millionaires. And Lewis is like, bro, I'm scared of that. Like, every time you say it, I want to believe it, but I don't know how. And then I told him, I was like, because your mindset's got to be there. Eventually your mindset's there. If your mindset's not there, like, I'll give you this. Raise your hand if you've already made $1 million. We've all made $1 million. If you look at from the minute you started working till now, and you have you've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it. Now, what are we changing? We're changing the way we're doing it. Mm-hmm. Instead of making it over 20-year lifespan, let's do it over a year. Let's do it over 2 years. That's the only difference between the millionaire and the non-millionaire, is that he figured out a way to say, it took me 20 years to make my first million. It's going to take me a year to make my second, because he's going to compound all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think I learned a lot. And I think that we're all going to benefit from that, because obviously I got the book. I've been training. I've been, working my butt off. I was here which is kind of funny because Heather was here late yesterday.
Yeah, she was.
So I walked downstairs. I thought I was the only one here, and I'm walking out, and then I'm like, oh my God, Heather, you're here. So, there's a lot of people that are at this office that are grinding just like we are, and we're going to set the bar to a different standard. We're all going to be like people that, that the rest of the office is going to look up to, and we're going to just set that bar to where you want to work at this office, you gotta bleed and breed what we do. And if not, I'm okay with you working at another Larosa office, because if they don't want to have the standards that we do, I'm okay with that. But we are going to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We are going to work and do this, because at the end of the day, everybody you come across is going to look at you like the stepping stone of, if I go to work, like, I don't know if we were looking at the Boiler Room interview, he was like, if you work here, you're going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's up to you how much over are you going to be that, and then what is it that you're going to do with it? Because that's important, So that was my week, by the way, and in a recap. But I know it was long-winded, but it was because obviously that formula was really important to me. Like, I saw it. I don't know how many people there saw it, but that formula was super important to me, because it showed me that now I can have clarity over what we need to do. Matter of fact, we were working on it for almost an hour and a half yesterday.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
right, basically putting everything down in a format that we can actually look at it.
And exactly. And then what did we notice? One of the biggest things we noticed is I have less time.
You're using more time than you have.
Correct. So now we have to take those numbers and we have to actually break them back down so that those times are, that it adds up to 100. Because
Mhm.
what was the worst percentage that we saw where it said family? What was that?
Oh man, that was 12%.
12%, which is horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, eventually, yeah, it's like that at the beginning because you're building something. But let's say you build it in 2-3 years, right? Then that percentage starts to change because now that time with family expands
Mhm.
because you're going to be able to have more time because now you've built a business that, what is the book we're reading?
Sustain itself.
Oh, business
Built
that you
to
can sell.
Correct. It's not saying that we're going to sell the business, but I'm just saying it's built to sell. That means it works without you.
Yeah.
And as long as it could work without us, then it becomes that amazing machine.
Mhm.
So that's all I have. So
All right.
anybody else have any?
Good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It was great. Hope to be on another episode of Ray and Nev. But we'll stay tuned, I guess.
Word.
next time.
You know what? We have to have him back on here when he does like the 3D layout of all the floor plans.
Yes. We're
And so we
working on
can
that.
talk about how we were able to
So-
get that
Yeah,
established.
So Juan's already showed me a company that can do it, but that company can only do based on their layouts.
Mhm.
They won't do our layout. So I'm looking for other companies now to get that done.
Mhm.
So we'll have the 3D layouts pretty soon. We have the 3D layout. We created I got the app to
Yeah.
create them. Now we have to hire the company that actually build it.
Yeah.
So.
Hopefully we'll get that pretty soon. And then Lewis, he's always welcomed on the episode. This is like what, the 6th time, 7th time you've been on here?
He's a veteran.
That's it.
He's a veteran on the show.
Yeah.
Man. So any final words for anybody out there listening that want Lewis to be like, you want to go ahead and give him like a pitch about why you should be in this chair,
Just everybody be out there, be safe, and just tune in to the next episode.
There
All
we
right,
go.
guys. Thank you for
All right.
watching.
Thank you for watching.